So, for the yeast, if we wanted to look at a yeast under the microscope, we would make a wet prep of a colony. We would take one of the white creamy colonies and we would add a drop of water to a slide. We'd take a little of the colony, mix it with the saline or the water, put the cover slip, and we would do a wet prep. And we would look to see if there were those buds or even some pseudohyphae. When we want to identify a mold, we can't do a wet prep as is because they're as we said, they're filamentous, they're fuzzy, they're woolly. They're not going to be something creamy that you can scoop up and put on it won't work. So what we have to do is called a Scotch tape prep. And this is exactly what it says. We're actually going to use a piece of Scotch tape. So what we do is we take a glass slide. So instead of putting a drop of saline like we would do for a wet prep, we put a drop of this beautiful blue dye called lactophenol blue, cotton blue. So all you need to know is we put some dye, blue dye, on the slide. Then we take a piece of clear Scotch tape, not the cloudyish one, but the one that's totally clear. And we take a piece of Scotch tape and we hold it each end with one hand, each hand. We hold the piece and we press it down the fuzzy mold that's growing on an agar plate. And then so what happens is the hyphae and the conidia stick to the Scotch tape prep. And then we take that Scotch tape after we hit the mold, the fuzziness of it. We then press it onto the lacto dye, the blue dye, on the cover slip. on the slide. So the Scotch tape actually acts as a cover slip. And then we put it on our microscope and we look through the clear Scotch tape to see if we can see the conidia and the hyphae so we can identify it. So since molds are much bigger than yeast and much, much bigger than bacteria, we look at 10x first to try to focus in, and then we go to 40x to get more detail. So if you were in the lab, you would get to do this, but obviously you're just going to get to look at pictures now. So by the color of the mold on the plates and what we see when we make the Scotch tape prep and look under the microscope, we are able to identify the mold. So all you would have been doing is identifying the mold to see if it was Penicillium or Aspergillus.